Alright, so this is my silage truck. This is my grain truck slash silage truck. And of course you notice it's a wooden box. There's not a whole lot of strength and integrity in a wooden box. A lot of it comes from, there's a chain in the center runs across, and then bracing on the front and the back. That works great for grain, but you can't have bracing or anything in the center when you're hauling silage. It obstructs it. And obviously this is the truck I have. I really do like the truck, and it's got a really nice tall box on it, but it's just not strong enough. So I'm going to do a little bit of fabricating, add some uprights to it, and then I would like to, if we can pull it off, install a whole hydraulic silage end gate that's tied to the hydraulics of the hoist. So when we hoist it up, the end gate automatically opens, and then it sucks it all down together. That's the goal. We're going to see how we get there. Alright, so I built everything here out of 3-inch square tubing with 1/4-inch wall. I think it was a little bit overbuilt, but better to go over than under. Use this bandsaw for most of the cuts. I bought it at a farm auction. It's from the 70s. And then obviously had to do some grinding on the frame to get things prepped for welding here. This was a tougher part, putting these uprights up by myself. I had to hold them in place with 1 foot and try and make it square at the top. Not exactly the easiest thing. Didn't fall off the ladder though. You can see I got that one nice and square, so I'm joking. Tried to tighten it back with the come along. That worked well. I think we got that on video. I ripped out the ground clamp, put it back together. Let's try this again. I figured out at that point if I held it up there and then welded it at the bottom, and then I could kind of adjust it a bit at the top to make it square. Obviously it's important it's in line with those wooden uprights, because I was drilling a bolt hole in each upright and then bolting it to the box as well as welding it to the top and bottom. Then I put these cross members underneath that go right to the hoist frame. That way it stops it from spreading at the bottom, just to give it a little bit extra strength. This was a bit of a job, but I was surprised this box is perfectly square on all corners. Considering it was built in the 70s, that was pretty good. Alright, so I got both sides on now. Basically the idea here is I'm going to run a tube across the top to connect the top, and then it'll be held together at the back by the end gate. And then with these uprights on the side, it's going to stop the box from spreading. That's the whole goal. So as you can see, I bolted the top piece there. There will be holes here to bolt this to. Welded it to the side of the box and then underneath to the frame. I'm just using this really cheap welder. It's from Home Hardware. It works for what I need. I'm actually surprised how well it's been doing. Obviously with cheaper welders, the duty cycle is pretty low, but I haven't overheated it yet. So again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I went to a intro to welding course at the college years and years ago, but other than that I just kind of read things on the internet and watch things on YouTube. So we'll see if this truck stays together. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But we're gonna call it a night for tonight. I got too many other things to do. We'll be back at it soon. Alright, so it's been a couple days since I'm back working on the truck. Got all the sides done. We got the top on, of course. Both sides are done. And like I've shown before, I was welding there. Everything's welded to the frame. Don't look too close to my welds. I'm sure they'll hold, but they don't win any fashion contests. So, put this top piece up here, and it's just bolted to the box and then welded on each side. So that should hold the box from spreading at the front. Now at the back, we're going to build a whole silage Endgate. And the objective is to use this grain Endgate, and then I've got another extension that goes on the top of that. We're going to bolt those to some uprights, hinge them off of these holes up on the cross piece, and then hopefully weld up some cylinders, and it's all going to work good. And I don't ever actually know what I'm doing. I just kind of sat on the edge of the shower this morning and drew this up in my head. So hopefully it works. That would be really good. Okay, so I got the hinge done on this truck here, this upper part. Just using a drawbar pin up there for now with a bunch of brass bushings in it. I thought of using a bolt. I wanted some kind of bushings in there just so it had a little more movement. It's not wearing itself right on the steel. So that's a 7/8 pin with a 1-inch hole and bushings to fit perfectly in between. Excuse the wind noise here. So right now, I'm just looking at this whole picture here. I need a little bit more bracing. I'm just going to run some cross angles across the top. And then I'm going to do the scariest part of this project. Right now, this grain end gate is held in. There's a piece of angle iron. It's like this track. It runs all the way up each side of the end gate. And that's what holds it in the sides. And then these pieces, they're like stake pockets. These stakes come in. And then there's 4 places of it, and it holds the whole end gate in. When you run the back chain, just everything's held together, and that's how you get a nice tight seal for a grain truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut off the stake, and I'm going to cut an edge out of the angle iron, so then the end gate's only held on there by the beams of steel up against the hinge, and hopefully the whole thing swings in and out. I'm going to guess I'm going to have to notch the top corners of the box, because I don't think it's going to freely clear it when I got it swung open. But the scary part of that is once you cut the end gate and you cut the edges, you no longer can go back. This is no longer going to be a nice functional grain truck. Eventually we'll get back there. I got to work the bugs out, get the end gate nice and square, but we'll get there. It'll be good. Alright, well, moment of truth. I've got the stakes cut, got the sides cut. Let's see what happens when we lift her up here. Everything goes well, this whole back end should just swing out. That's the goal. I would say the box is very tight. Woo-hoo! Look at that! Wow! Wow. Okay, there's no problem. Yeah. Look at this. This is what I kind of figured. It's right on the top there. Okay, that's the next project. I'm gonna trim the top of the box so then when it swings up, that bar doesn't hit the top. Took a little notch out of the top here, each side, see if that makes a difference here. Look at that. Oh. And freaking fantastic. Whew. Alright, it's the next day. We're back to work here. Thankfully it all works. It swings out freely and nice. It's really heavy, but that's what you want. And this track here that I was talking about, this clears nicely on both sides. So the next step, I'm gonna run a brace across and up to the, I guess where the end of the, kind of where the hinge is on the tailgate side, or the end gate side. That's just gonna make everything a little bit stronger, because right now the entire end gate is hinged off of the top weld on each side, and that's just not quite good enough for me. So we're gonna put a brace across on each side, and then we can figure out where we're gonna weld up the cylinders. And I'm gonna have to do a little bit of mathing to figure out the cylinder angles, but we'll get there. Got the braces done on each side here. The end gate's technically done, so I'm gonna run a cylinder from the back upright up into the, here, this angle. And I've measured where the cylinder is fully retracted, so I'm just gonna use the tractor and swing the end gate up. The cylinder stroke is 24 inches, so I wanna make sure that if I mount the cylinder in the spot I'm thinking, that it fully extends that tailgate all the way out. Okay, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. I had this welded from here up to here, and then I forgot this piece is offset from this, so then the cylinder is gonna go crooked. Need to weld it from here to here somewhere. So it took me a while to cut it back off, which is good because I'm just such an excellent welder, as you can see here. But we're gonna try this again. So we're pretty well done. I got all the bracing done, like I said. I have the cylinders mounted up here. I was planning to put them on this tubing that runs across, but the way that the stroke works and the cylinders work, it just makes more sense to put them up there. So then I had to offset them a bit with this piece. Of course, nothing here is very fancy. I'm not actually very good at this, but when I welded the tabs on wrong, it was pretty tough to get them off. So I'm just gonna pray that it all works. Well, we got the hydraulic system kind of figured out. I just gotta put it together now. I'm basically taking from the main pump. I want to tee off into the supply line for the cylinders and then route that back so it runs the cylinders on the Endgate. I'm gonna have a valve at the line for the hoist and a valve at the back, so then I can turn off the hoist and open the Endgate independently if I want to put some pallets or something in the back, and then I can turn off the Endgate if I need to, and then it becomes a grain truck. So that's the theory. Let's put it all together. Alright, so I got all the fittings on here for tonight. Got my valve here where we're going to tee off, and then it should run to the back to another valve, like I said, splits to the cylinders and then back. So this is a suction line as the cylinders are pulled back in from the back as the hoist goes down. That's how that works. This is no good. So I'm going to pause this project tonight. I'm going to go to the hydraulic shop first thing in the morning, get a super short hose. Have to have a hose here because could be any kind of movement. I don't want a fitting perfectly across there, so but we'll get that together, and then I have a pretty good feeling. We had minimal oil spill, bit of an explosion, but this truck is coming. All right, we're next day here. I got my hose shortened up, put back together. I'm just gonna see how much hydraulic oil's in here, because I know filling these cylinders, there's a little bit, not much though. Filling these cylinders is gonna take quite a bit, so we're just gonna top that up. I don't really know how much oil we're going to need because we filled all of the extra lines with oil, which they'll stay full, but just the oil that holds the cylinders we're going to need to hold in this tank when everything's retracted, and then have enough room to extend it. So you don't want to overfill the tank because you still need some room. I don't know. Basically right now I just need enough oil in there to extend the cylinders without running everything dry. We'll see. And this also is not a vented cap. I don't understand how they did that because the system isn't vented. But this truck and this hoist, everything was designed in 1973, so I don't think the guys who did this had a YouTube channel. Otherwise I would look it up. Okay, moment of truth here. I think we've done everything. Now I've got these hooked up. Ooh, we're just gonna pray this all works, right, Timmy? It's gonna work great. Okay, here we go. Why is nothing happening? Nothing is happening. The chain is caught underneath somehow. That's not good. Uno momento. Okay, take two. We'll see if this actually works. So I have bypass the hoist, so the flow should go direct to the gate cylinders. Let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. Am I good at this or am I good at this? So here it comes down now. This is the part I'm a little bit nervous about. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh my word. Okay, now let's see. We have the hoist works, retracts, everything's fine. We're gonna pretend we're fully loaded. Should have flipped that valve around, but oh well. Okay. And then the challenge is hopefully it doesn't blow those cylinders out when it's loaded. First thing you do when you build something new like this is you never fill the truck fully loaded. But so far the hoist is coming up, we're just going to speed it up here. Yeah, I'll bet we just ran out of oil. Okay. Okay, take 3. I adjusted the oil in it. That tank, like I said, is not vented, so I think I'm going to find a breather cap for it, because when I bought this truck it was used for hauling cattle, and I don't even think they used the hoist ever. So I wonder if back then someone said, well, just put a proper cap in the tank, then you won't get water in it. I've been using it for the past year without that, because when I lowered the hoist down and I about 3/4 of the way unthreaded the cap, it like with air pressure. It's because the air has to go, or as the oil moves out of the tank, air has to replace it. And right now we're kind of creating a vacuum in there, so it does work, and I'll show you right now. Hit the valve. Should be a split between the gate should open up. Okay, so thank you guys for watching me build this. This is a pretty exciting project. Man, it actually turned out really well, so love it when things work. I'm just going to tidy up some hoses. I think I'm going to deal with that cap. We should be good to go, which is perfect timing because I think we're going to be doing silaging in a couple days. And stay tuned for that. Thank you.